Welcome into Coach's Comments presented by Southside Auto Tech. I'm Cristiano Simona, joined alongside by Stars head coach and GM Cody Chupp. And Cody, I have to start it off. It's a 3-0 game after the first period. What's the message to your guys that led to the 19-shot second period and then the initial 2 goals by Zach Erdahl, Boltman's first USHL goal, Travis Treloar's goal with under 5 minutes to go? Take us through what the initial moment was, though, after the first period when you're down 3-0 and the game can go an entirely different way as what you saw last year with some of these games.
I can't tell you. No, I think the gist of the message was that wasn't us, and it certainly wasn't us at home. And we talk a lot about how we want this to be the toughest place to play in the league, and to come out in the first period like we did. It was interesting. We had a really good first shift, and then all of a sudden it was like we decided that Cedar Rapids wasn't very good, and we were just going to do whatever we wanted. And, they made us pay dearly for that. And, that with some colorful adjectives was basically the message.
Gotcha. And then 3 goals on 7 shots for the first period from Ryan McKinchick, but he comes up with a huge save on Will Francis in the high slot in that second period when you're down by 1 goal, and they could make it 4-2, but Max stands tall with a good save, and he ends up stopping 12 straight shots, 9 in the third period. What did you like from him in terms of his resiliency through that adversity in the first period?
I liked the same thing I liked from our group, which was we weren't real happy with ourselves after the first, and we responded in the right way, and Mac has been solid for us all year long. And again tonight in that second and third period, made a couple big ones when we needed him to, and made all the stops that we had to have. And, at that point after the first period, when you give up 3 in the first, if you do the math, you really can't afford to give another one up, because it can slip away from you very, very quickly no matter how well you're playing. So, huge credit to him, huge credit to our guys and their response.
Zach Erdahl has 3 goals in his last 2 games, and he's in the bottom 6, if you will, if you want to call it that, of the Stars offense that puts up 4 goals a game. What does he do away from the puck that really stands out? Because it seems like he's humming around the ice 200 feet every shift.
When he skates, he is very tough to handle. And, you look at the odd man rush goal that he scored, I believe his second goal. He gets to that puck as the weak side wing, coming over in support, getting above it, wins the race. Not only wins the race, but wins it with time to get his eyes up, get possession, and start to make a read. And, I think that's the key component to his game. When he's playing with that jam and his feet are moving, he's on pucks quick. He has a good stick to take it away, and he's really tough to handle. He's got those long, fluid strides, which are a little bit deceptive for defenders when that speed's coming at you. He's moving very fast, and sometimes it doesn't look like he's going overly fast. So, he's been fantastic. And to say that he's a bottom 6, what I would say is he's a young player that's maturing into even a better player. And, I think if you look at our so-called bottom 6, it's a fantastic group, and we have a few guys that are in that same boat where, they're new to the league and they're learning their way through the league. But I was very pleased with that group tonight. I thought they gave us energy when we needed it. They gave us some goals when we needed them. You really can't ask for more from that group of younger guys, and what I would say maybe our bottom 6.
Jake Boltman, his first USHL goal, tied up the game. It's the second goal for the Stars defenseman this year. What can you get more out of the guys from the blue line in terms of offensive production? And because the goals, they haven't been there. Sure, Boltman had a goal taken away when Barbolini had the deflection in front a couple weeks ago, but you have so much offense up front. If you can get those guys in the backhand feeding in that transition game and resulting in lighting the lamp, I think this offense could be video game-like in terms of their numbers.
Yeah, for us, it starts in our own zone and how clean we are on whether it's getting possession in the defensive zone or it's a retrieval situation. If we're clean in those situations and we can make that first pass and start our transition, it makes us predictable for the other guys on the ice. So now all of a sudden we're getting into our routes. We continue our speed. It allows that weak side D to activate and really join the rush. When we get into the offensive zone, I think, traditionally you watch us low to high to relief pressure. The big component for those guys is the ability to get off the wall, the ability to change the angle. And when you're getting pucks through, you give yourself a chance, right? And anytime we're hitting shin guards, it not only slows down our offensive zone game, but it doesn't give those guys a chance to be rewarded with some points. So, it starts in our own zone, but those guys, it's a young group, and, Bolts in particular has been fantastic for us, and, he's been a surprise in all the right ways. When we drafted him in the dispersal draft, we knew he was a good young player. He's a fantastic human being. He's a great player that wants to get better every single day, and he's really making a name for himself in the early parts of the season, not just with us and our fans, but the NHL guys that are watching him as well.
Last question for you, Cody. Do you guys need to practice some empty nets? Because I don't think your heart rate was settling down when you saw Jordy take that shot from about 180 feet, and then Sarlo as well with Miller right in front of the crease. They certainly love to make it as nerve-wracking as possible for everybody watching, including yourself.
Yeah, in that situation, I don't mind it, and part of the play that we drew there was having that pressure up ice in case it didn't go in. I'd prefer it go in, and then my life gets a little bit easier and less stressful. But I think that might be a little bit indicative of our group. And when we get one, we want two, and we want three, and we want four, and we just want to keep going. And as long as we're working both directions, and we're doing things right, I like a little bit of that swagger to go for the open net there.
Thank you so much for doing this, Cody. The Stars 7-2-2 on the season. They'll be back in action tomorrow night in Des Moines. Stars win 4-3, 4 unanswered goals against the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. This was Coach's Comments presented by Southside Auto Tech.